Hello everyone, myself Khyati Vyas from JNP English Medium Saraswati Group of Education. Today I am conducting this session for grade 4, subject SS. We are dealing with chapter number 4, the Northern Plains, and this is my session number 2 for this chapter. So kids, in our earlier chapter, we discussed regarding different features or different physical features in India. Amongst these physical features, we have already discussed regarding the northern mountains. While coming towards the south of the northern mountains, you have northern plains. Correct? Now, in first session of this chapter, that is the northern plains, I shared a vocabulary words PPT in which I explained the meaning of few difficult words with the help of some related pictures. And I also explained to you that these northern plains, they are the plains formed due to the flow of some of the major rivers which flow down from the northern mountains. In northern mountains, there is snowfall during winter. In summer, when the sun shines bright on this snow, the snow gets melted and then it flows down as water in the form of river. River Indus, Ganga, Yamuna, Brahmaputra. These are few rivers which flow down from the northern mountains towards the northern plains. And in the course of the flowing down of the river, it brings silt along with the water. Along with the flow of water, it brings down silt. Silt is nothing but a fine dust particle. And when it starts flowing into the plains, the flow of the water gets slows down. And because of this, the silt gets deposited on the banks of the rivers and it makes the area very fertile. Fertile means good for growing crops. Now, I also told you that there are three important basins in the northern plains of India. They are the Indus Basin, the Ganga Basin and the Brahmaputra Basin. Now, in today's session, we will discuss regarding these basins. We will discuss regarding the population density of these plains and pollution of the rivers. These topics we will cover in today's session. To begin with, let us start with the Indus Basin. Indus Basin is formed by river Indus and its tributaries. Tributaries are small streams which are parts of that river. Correct? So now that we have already learned what are tributaries, what is a basin, all these things. Now, Indus Basin is formed by river Indus. Its tributaries are Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Sutlej. These are all the tributaries of river Indus. River Indus अलग-अलग flow होती है और इन tributaries के through flow होती है. Which are the tributaries? Jhelum, Chenab, Beas, Sutlej and Ravi. These are the tributaries of river Indus. A large part of this basin lie in Pakistan. Indus Basin. Indus Basin, the majority of the portion of Indus Basin is in Pakistan. River Indus starts from India but it flows through Pakistan. So that is why the majority of the part of this basin is in Pakistan. In India, the Indus Basin covers the states of Punjab and Haryana. In India, Punjab and Haryana are the two states where this basin is formed. Both the states are drained mainly by river Sutlej. In both these states, that is Punjab and Haryana, river Sutlej, it is flowing and it supplies water. What is Sutlej? Sutlej is one of the tributary of river Indus. So Sutlej is also a river. Main river is Indus and its tributary is river Sutlej, which flows through Punjab and Haryana. The Bhakra Nangal Dam has been built on river Sutlej. There is a big dam in India. There are so many dams, but one of them is Bhakra Nangal Dam, and this dam is built across river Sutlej. This dam is used to produce electricity and provide water for irrigation. Now this Bhakra Nangal Dam, why is it constructed? Firstly, to produce electricity, that is hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity is an electricity which is produced with the help of moving water. Now this Bhakra Nangal Dam, which is built across river Sutlej, it is used for producing electricity, that is hydroelectricity, and also for use for irrigation. Means people of Punjab and Haryana use this water that is supplied through river Sutlej for cultivating their crops in agriculture. That is called irrigation. Right? So this water of river Sutlej is blocked with the help of Bhakra Nangal Dam, and this water is used to produce electricity and for irrigation in the states of Punjab and Haryana. The main crops grown in Punjab and Haryana are wheat, cotton, barley, maize, rice, oilseeds, millets and sugarcane. Wheat. Wheat is nothing but Hindi you call it gehu, with the help of which you make rotis, thepla, paratha. So that is wheat. Then you have cotton. Cotton is used, the cotton seeds are used to extract oil, cotton seed oil, or cotton is used for making clothes, cotton is used for making bandages and all these things. Cotton is used for various other purposes. Then you have barley, it is a type of grain. Then maize is, corn, makai. Then rice, yani ki chawal. Oil seeds, all the seeds from which you can extract oil are called oil seeds. And millets. Millets are small grains, right? Like bajra, jowar, all these are called millets. They are very tiny. And also sugarcane, right? Sugarcane is used to make sugar or jaggery. Sugarcane is, in Hindi you call it ganna, Gujarati serdi. Yes, so all these things are being cultivated in Punjab and Haryana. So this was regarding Indus Basin. Why Indus Basin is important. Next is Ganga Basin. Ganga Basin spreads mainly across the state of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal. The river Ganga originates from Gangotri Glacier. Gangotri Glacier. What are glaciers? Big mass of ice, floating ice. They get melted from the snow and then it converts into the water and the river starts. So these big masses of ice, when they are floating, they are called glaciers. They are called glaciers. So Gangotri Glacier is the original place from where river Ganga takes its birth. Gangotri Glacier is the origin of Ganga river. River Ganga originates from Gangotri Glacier. The major tributaries of river Ganga include Gandak, Gomti, Ghagra, Kosi, Chambal, Sindh, Betwa and Sar. There are so many tributaries of river Ganga. Tributaries are small streams of river which are flowing from the main river. River Ganga meets the river Yamuna at Allahabad. Now it is called Prayagraj. Allahabad is now called Prayagraj. Here in Allahabad, river Ganga and river Yamuna, they come together and meet at the common place. The water of Ganga and Yamuna get mixed. This place is known as Sangam. The place in Allahabad where river Ganga and Yamuna, they meet each other. This place is called Sangam. Sangam. In Hindi, Sangam means when you meet somebody, it is called Sangam. So since here river Ganga and river Yamuna, they meet each other, this place is called Sangam. On reaching West Bengal, river Ganga divides itself into several branches. When it reaches the state of West Bengal, river Ganga, it divides into so many branches. From one river, one small stream will flow to different parts. See, for example, this is the main river, and from this main river, one stream will flow this side, other will flow this side, one here, one other stream this side. So all these, they are nothing but the branches of that river. From one river, so many branches are being flowing, and this happens in West Bengal. So, on reaching West Bengal, river Ganga divides itself into several branches. The two main branches are Hooghly and Padma rivers. So, these branches are also called rivers. One main branch of river Ganga in West Bengal is called river Hooghly, and the other main branch of river Ganga, it is called river Padma. Hooghly and Padma, they take birth from the same river, that is river Ganga, but it branches into different parts, and Hooghly and Padma are the two main branches or two main rivers which is being formed by the division of river Ganga. River Padma enters Bangladesh and is joined by river Jamuna. This Padma rivers, after flowing from West Bengal, it moves towards Bangladesh, and when it flows into Bangladesh, this river, it gets mixed with river Jamuna. It is not Yamuna, it is Jamuna. The river Jamuna is the largest branch of river Brahmaputra. This river Jamuna, it is one of the branch of river Brahmaputra. And river Padma is branch of river Ganga. So this Jamuna and Padma, that they go and meet each other in Bangladesh. At this stage, the river is also from the largest delta in the world, that is Sundarban Delta. Here, these rivers form the largest delta in the world. Delta is nothing but a place where the river streams into different branches and then it gets mixed with the ocean or the sea. And normally these deltas are in the triangular form. See, you can see it here. It looks triangle. Yes. So these deltas are normally triangular in form, and the largest delta in the world is Sundarban Delta, which is formed due to this reason, where river Ganga and Brahmaputra, they meet each other and they flow into Bay of Bengal. Now, this Sundarban Delta flows into Bay of Bengal. The rivers which form a Sundarban Delta, then it goes and flows and mixes with the Bay of Bengal, that is towards the east of India. So this is the main point that is to be remembered. River Ganga and river Brahmaputra, they meet each other, forming the delta, that is Sundarban Delta, and this water later drains into Bay of Bengal. Major crops grown in this region are sugarcane, rice, jute, wheat and millet. Sugarcane, as I have told you, it is nothing but ganna in Hindi. Then rice, chawal, jute. Jute, you might have observed the gunny bags. Have you observed the gunny bags? Yes. Or you might have observed some Nowadays you find fancy hats that are made of jute, fancy handbags that are made of jute, right? So that is jute. And wheat, gehu and millets means small grains are called millets. So all these things are grown in the Ganga basin. Next, last basin is the Brahmaputra basin. The Brahmaputra basin covers the state of Assam and Tripura that are towards the east of India. In the east of India you have Assam and Tripura, and this river Brahmaputra, it covers these two states. Brahmaputra is the main river of this basin. In this basin the main river is Brahmaputra. It originates in Tibet where it is called Sangpo. River Brahmaputra, it originates in Tibet, not in India, and later it enters India through Assam. Right? Here in Tibet, river Brahmaputra is called river Sangpo. When it enters into India, it is called Brahmaputra. Its original name is Sangpo, and it is given by the people of Tibet because the river originates from Tibet. It enters India from Arunachal Pradesh, passes through Assam and flows into Bay of Bengal. So when this river Brahmaputra, it flows through Tibet and enters India, it enters from Arunachal Pradesh and then Assam and then flows to the Bay of Bengal, which is to the east of India. This basin gets the highest rainfall in the world. Brahmaputra basin, it gets the highest rainfall in the world. The main crops grown here are jute and rice. So this was all regarding the Brahmaputra basin, the Ganga basin and the Indus basin. Now as you have already known about these three basins, let us talk about the population density in the northern plains. These plains are very much fertile, means good for growing crops. That means the population, how many people live here in the northern plains? So many people, right? Because it is good for growing crops, the land is plain, so roadway is good, railways are also having good network. So that is why population is also high. Industries can be set up easily, factories can be set up easily, offices can be set up easily. So population is also high in the plains. So let's look into the population density of the northern plains. The northern plains are extremely fertile, means good for growing crops. They produce large quantity of food crops. So many food crops are grown here. This is why they are called the food bowl of India. These northern plains, they are called the food bowl of India. You have to remember this. Which part of India are called the food bowls of India? It is the northern plains. Several towns and cities have come up in these plains, leading to dense population. Dense population means highly populated. So many people are living there. Some of the major cities of the plains include, which are the major cities, means big cities in the northern plains. They are Amritsar, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Chandigarh, Delhi, Mathura, Haridwar, Agra, Allahabad, Varanasi, Patna, Lucknow, Kolkata, Dibrugarh, Tezpur and Guwahati. So all these big cities, they are in the northern plains and the population is very high, means so many people are living in this northern plains of India. Clear? So this was regarding the population density. Why the population is high? Because land is fertile, good for growing crops. They are called the food bowl of India. Plus, to set up any industry, factory, roadway, railway, everything is, it supports all these things. And that is why people prefer to stay there. Population is high. Next, talking about pollution of river. Now these rivers, as they are so much important, you need to, conserve these rivers. Conserve these rivers means you should not make these rivers polluted. You should preserve these rivers. Many factories have come up along the banks of rivers of the northern plains. As I told you, these factories, industries, they also need water in their production process. So there are a number of factories and industries on the banks of these rivers. They discard their waste in these rivers. Discard means let out. Right? They discard their waste. इनका जो waste water होता है ना, वो इन rivers में छोड़ देते हैं. Now what will happen if you let the dirty water in some nice clean river? That full river water will become dirty. Right? If you take one glass of pure water, just add one drop of some dirty water in it. Will you be able to drink that water then? The full glass, it became polluted. Now you will not be able to drink it. It is not safe. You might fall sick. Now these industries and factories which are set up in the banks of these rivers, what they do? The dirty water from these factories and industries are just released or discarded in the river water, and this river gets polluted. That is why the water from this river, it becomes unsafe for the use of human beings. This has made these rivers unfit for drinking and irrigation. Since the river water is mixed with chemicals, dirt, dust, everything, now this water becomes unsafe for drinking, for irrigation in the field. The chemical mixed water, if they use for irrigation, their plants will not grow well, or they might even die. So it is not fit for irrigation as well. Various projects for cleaning these rivers, like the Ganga Action Plan, have been taken up, and that is why the government has planned many programs just to preserve these rivers from getting contaminated. One of the program is Ganga Action Plan, in which they are preserving river Ganga from getting polluted. Clear? So all these things are discussed in today's session. We discussed regarding the Indus Basin, the Ganga Basin, the Brahmaputra Basin. We also discussed regarding the population density and the pollution of these rivers. So in next session, we will take up the exercise part of this chapter. Okay? So now, in today's session, I will be sending a PDF, that is your homework, fill in the blanks based. Please read the chapter till where I have explained. I have explained the chapter completely. So full chapter, just read once. If you are having any doubts, you can contact me, and complete your worksheet with good handwriting, no spelling mistakes. Clear? And next session, we will discuss the textbook exercise, and please click on the like icon if you have liked this video. Clear, kids? So let me take your leave now.